Axios noting one influential Democrat told me Trump had achieved a tactical win, stoking his own base and the Democrats' internal tension. Quote, his view is that he simply cannot go too far. That line doesn't exist. A Trump ally said he believes the more he puts the squad front and center, the better his reelection chances get. The squad, of course, being 4 women, bing for the misogynists, of color, bing for the racists, one of whom is an immigrant, bing for the nativists. And this is at the same time that the Democratic Party is, or many voices in the Democratic Party, are talking about things that really crank the freakout factor among Trump's base, among the white racist base. And once again, keep in mind, about 40% of the electorate of registered voters are Democrats, and about 40% are Republicans, and about 20%. It's actually slightly less than that. It's in the 30s, but you get the point. And then there's this 20% in the middle who don't identify. They call themselves independents. But of that 40% base, about half of them don't vote in most elections. So you have a choice. You can turn out your base, or you can go for the people in the middle to get elected. And the Republicans have been running base strategies. You know, we had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. The Republicans have been running base strategies since Reagan, and the Democrats have been running centrist strategies since Clinton. And it's working out well for the Republicans and not well for the Democrats. So now the Democrats are starting to move toward their base. And, you know, a good chunk of the Democratic base are, well, the Democratic base made up of white people who actually understand the ideals and notions of this country and believe in a pluralistic society. And here's the problem, right? You use polysyllabic words like pluralistic, and you lose the Trump voters, right? From the get-go. But in any case, let's say reasonable white voters, African Americans, particularly African American women, show up to vote in large numbers. Now, to an extent, those numbers may be skewed because racist policing has incarcerated so many African American men that in many states they simply can't vote. But in any case, African Americans, Hispanics, although most Hispanics are Catholic and many of them are relatively conservative when it comes to social issues, things like gay rights and abortion rights. And so the Republican Party is like trying to reach out to them. And so the bottom line is, right now, as Democrats are speaking more and more about, we need to protect the rights of immigrants. Today, the Trump administration changed the rules for who can, appeal for asylum in the United States. And if you go to a country that you're fleeing from, if you go to another country before you come to the United States, in other words, if you leave Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and go to Mexico, then you can no longer apply for asylum in the United States. You have to stop first in the United States. Otherwise, you have to apply for asylum in Mexico. This is the new rule that Trump just put into place. It's literally going into effect today or tomorrow. And it's going to eliminate, all these asylum seekers. So as the Democrats are talking about asylum and featuring, women of color, the squad, and people of color in general, and having a diverse, male and female diversity as well, set up, the Republicans are going all white male all the time. Will it work for them?